What up, folks? What it do? Welcome to another episode of the Best Advice Ever podcast with your boy, man, Mike Goodwin, the bow tie comedian. And this podcast, as it's been named appropriately, is the best advice ever. And if you've been hanging out with me for the last few weeks, I've switched up the format just a little bit. So we come out of the gate talking about the best advice ever. I would even challenge you to look for opportunities to share life hacks, good advice. Matter of fact, Jeremy, the guy who does the editing for the podcast, he didn't give me advice recently, but I did something that he and his wife have done, and I typically don't do this. This sounds a little interesting. But I remember having a conversation with him, and before a new season of a particular show would come on, he and his wife would watch the old episodes before the premiere of the new season. And I'm not a guy that really spends a lot of time watching shows that I've seen already. Movies, there's some folks that know the lines of movies. I don't. I may read a book a couple of times. Like I read The Invisible Man every few years. Great Gatsby is a book that I pick up every few years. But I'm typically not the man. I enjoyed that so much. Let me watch it again. That's not typically how I get down. But because I had a conversation with Jeremy and we've been talking, I think it was even in a text thread, he basically was saying that he was rewatching this particular episode. I was finishing something up and I had an opportunity to start a new series. And I was like, hey, man, let me watch that episode. Let me watch that show that I've seen already. And it's a good show. I hate that I'm not telling y'all the show, but I just feel like it makes it a little bit more suspenseful. So maybe y'all will send me some social media questions about, hey, what show are you talking about? Maybe you will, maybe you won't. But I chose to watch the show again, and I'm thoroughly enjoying it. Number one, it's a great show. Number two, I'm picking up things that I probably dismissed the first go around. And again, I'm not anti rewatching shows. I watched The Wire before. Boondocks is a show I probably want to go back and get back in there. But a lot of shows, man, this is a lot of episodes. So it takes a lot to get through. Like Suits, for me, I'm not even rewatching. I'm not even watching the whole original series. So it's difficult for me to go and rewatch. But I think the show that I'm rewatching it's definitely a show that because I forgot. I mean, I kind of remember what happened, big picture, but I didn't remember all the little nuances. This, it's like people that are in the show that I forgot that was in the show. I was like, oh, I watched it, but at that time, that person probably wasn't as prominent as he is now. So to see him again, it has a little bit more weight. So look for opportunity to share things that work for you with other people. But that being said, let me share today's best advice ever. And it's simply one I was thinking about recently. Someone that had a clip of me talking about investing in yourself. I think one of the best investments you can make is in yourself. I remember having a conversation with somebody and a friend of mine, and he was saying basically that a home was the best investment that you can make. And I was like, no, I don't think so. Because every time I invest in myself, I get a return. So the best advice ever today is learn the difference between an investment and an expense. Learn the difference between an investment and an expense. An expense is basically once that money is spent, it's gone. Like there's no reciprocation. It doesn't reciprocate. There's no residuals. Once that money is gone, it's going out. And it could be interesting because some things that you may think of as an expense may turn out to be an investment. And some things you think are an investment may really just be an expense. But an expense is something that is pretty immediate. Like it's you got to get gas for your vehicle. That's an expense. You need groceries. Now, you can invest in a particular type of beverage or eggs, and maybe that'll give you more protein and might give you a better quality of life. But on average, those are gonna be expenses. Now, you can invest. Again, there may be, there may be some food items that you say, hey, this is an investment. I'm purchasing this because it's going to extend my life. So recognizing the difference between an expense and an investment. An investment is something that basically it's money that you spend now for something greater later. College should be an investment. So now I spend the money to go to college with the idea that this investment will bring me returns. I will be able to land a job. I will be able to cultivate relationships. I will have a new set of skills and knowledge that I can walk away from this experience and I can double my money or triple my money or 10x my money. I can add on to the foundation that was laid. I remember having a conversation with a friend of mine about college, and I might even talk about this on the podcast because he's an avid podcast listener. And we got into this debate about, is college overrated, right? And in some regards, I think two things can be true, right? You can hold two ideas and they can be true. College can be overrated. And what I was trying to communicate to my friend, that if you cultivated a great college experience, it's not overrated. Like if you went to college to accomplish some things, like specific, like you say, okay, I want to go to college, and at the end of my 4 years, I want to be a better writer. I want to be a better communicator. I want to have the ability to be fluent in a foreign language. Some people go to college with those intentions, with those goals, aspirations, and they go to college and they use college sort of as a laboratory, a breeding ground for their next level. Now, everybody doesn't do that. Some people just get degrees, baby. They walk away 4 years later with more regrets. They don't study any better. They don't have a good morning routine. They're not in great physical condition. They just was in school, and wherever the wind would blow, they went. And I didn't have that. That wasn't my paradigm. My perspective, number one, I went to the Army before I went to college. So when I came to college, I had some things that I really wanted to accomplish. I really wanted to actively be a part of the campus experience. And I did. Like there's very little on a college campus that I did not do. I was in student government. I was a resident assistant. I was a summer orientation leader. I was in ROTC. I was in Greek life. I videotaped the basketball team. Then I was a presidential ambassador. There's very little on campus that was afforded to me where I didn't try to take advantage of. I wanted to get a degree that would set me up for my future. And that's what I ended up doing. I got a degree. Then I ended up going to graduate school to get another degree. But all those experiences that I had in student life and student affairs made me selecting graduate school a little bit easier. And I knew when I went to graduate school, I knew a lot of what I didn't want to do. I didn't want to work in admissions. I didn't want to work in housing. And so that gave me the ability for me when I started in the visitor center. So it's basically, it's kind of like, I don't know the genre of what you would call, but it's more of, it's similar to admissions in terms of the visitor center was basically and I was in my first job at the visitor center was group tours. So I would give tours for local high school community organizations that wanted to tour the University of South Carolina, but also the visitor center was responsible for giving tours to prospective students. That was separate from the admissions situation. So you still had an admissions presentation. Now, I don't know how the University of South Carolina does it now. The visitor center and admissions may all be one. But at this time, when I was at the school, the admissions center was separate from the visitor center. So you can visit, park, go on a full tour, and that had nothing to do with the admissions office. Now, we would communicate to the admissions office who the people were that were on the tour, and typically they would have maybe a session, then a tour, or a tour, then a session, because sessions were at that time, I'm trying to remember, but it may have been sessions were scheduled at particular times of day. So every day there was a 10 o'clock and a 12 o'clock admission session. So you would schedule your other visits around when your admission session was. So if you had a 12 o'clock admission sessions, you could do a 10 o'clock campus tour. If you had a 10 o'clock admission session, you could do a 12 o'clock campus tour. But that's how I went into college wanting to join a fraternity. I went into college with some things that I wanted to accomplish. And so that was an investment to me. It was definitely an investment for me because I served 4 years in the military to get money to pay for college. And even to the degree of I didn't spend, but they took for my first year $100 out of my pay to go into my college fund. So even though the military paid me $30,000 for college, I paid into that program $1,200. I invested $100 a year, or not a year, a month for 12 months to gain access to this college money. So investments, what would be an investment? What would be an investment? Investment would be taking a course, taking a training, buying some equipment that would help you to increase the productivity of your work. For me, a new phone, getting a new phone would be an investment because I make content. I got to record videos, take pictures. So what would typically seem to be an expense, now I create content, I put it on the internet, people see it, they like it, they book me for shows, they see it, they like it, they buy a ticket to come to my show. Now, what was once an expense has now become an investment because this is a tool to help me generate more income. So investments is similar to planting seeds. You are more future minded. You're doing something now with the hopes that it will be productive or beneficial to you in the future. So learn the difference between an investment and an expense. Next, I talk about being on the road or different cities. I was on the road. I was in Orlando, Florida, the home of the mouse, right? But I was in a 4-star, 5-star hotel. I don't even know how many stars, but it was the Four Seasons. The Four Seasons in Orlando, Florida. I did this event, went very well. But I want to talk a little bit about fancy hotels. And I go to nice hotels. Most hotels I have to book, and they're typically in the Marriott family. I'm trying to get this status, right? So I'm typically in a Spring Hill Suites. I'm typically in what's another pretty common hotel that Marriott. What's a common Marriott hotel that I frequent? Let's see what's going on here. Oh, the Aloft. Those I do a good number of the Aloft brands. What are the brands that I typically? Spring Hill Suites. Oh, the Westin. I don't know if I do a lot of Westins when I go by myself. I don't do a lot of Westin. I do some Courtyard Marriott. I do some like standard Marriott. Town Place Suites. I've done a few of those. The JW, don't do those often. That's kind of, I need my wife with me when I do those. But I was in a Four Seasons, and here's, I'm gonna tell you my litmus test when I'm in a good hotel. If it's a top-notch hotel, if I walk into the hotel and I'm like, man, I wish I had my wife. That's a great hotel, because I'm missing points. I'm missing out on points with these types of hotels I go to, and my wife's not there. The Four Seasons, I don't know if I've been to a lot of Four Seasons. It just doesn't ring the bell. And I go to some nice hotels, but this Orlando Four Seasons was nice. Matter of fact, there was some things that, you like, man, this is really, really nice. So one of the things was they had a television on the mirror in the bathroom. I say, what? It was built in. And it was one of them things of like, it's hard enough for me to get out of the bathroom at my house. There's no television in my bathroom, but there's peace and quiet. There's tranquility, right? I can duck away, no questions, in the bathroom. But if I could watch ESPN in the bathroom, y'all might need to call the EMS, because I'm not coming out. Man, call the fire department. I'm not coming out. I'm in it to win it. Another reason this was a very fancy hotel, because you couldn't find the refrigerator. The refrigerator was camouflaged into the wall. Matter of fact, it was in the wall, and it was camouflage, because normally, most regular hotels I go to, you can see the refrigerator. It's like a little college dorm refrigerator sitting there on the floor, or at least there's a door, you open it and you see the little brown college dorm refrigerator. No, not at the Four Seasons. They had a joint built into the wall. Didn't even know it was up there. Then when I opened it, they had water inside of the refrigerator, but it wasn't the standard water. No, this is water in a carton. Do you know how confused my stomach was when I went to drink this water out what seemed to be a milk carton? Because my stomach was very apprehensive. It was like, hey, bro, hey. Because I was like, oh, what's this? I took the carton out of the refrigerator and I opened it. I read it, so I saw water. So I went to drink it, and my stomach was like, hey, it's time out. Flag on the play. 30-second timeout. What are you doing? And I'm not necessarily lactose, but I just don't be drinking milk like that. I just don't be milking it up, right? My stomach was a little concerned. I said, relax, stomach, is water. My stomach was like, water don't come out of boxes or bottles that look like that. That's milk. Milk. I think that's a Ricky Smiley. Oh, some milk. Some milk. So I'm like, nah, it's not milk, it's water. And I had a little back and forth with my stomach, because it was very, very nervous. Like, relax, it's water. You fancy when you can put a carton of water up to your mouth. That's fancy right there. Another fancy thing about Four Seasons, they were I had an early flight, so I'm going down to check out. It's 4:00 in the morning. There's people in there cleaning. They're cleaning like it's noon. I mean, they're cleaning like the average hotel would be cleaning in the middle of the day, cleaning in the morning for the people. I think I saw a dude out doing the lawn with like a flashlight on his head, manicuring the lawn with a flashlight. That's a fancy hotel. So I had the opportunity to hang out in the Four Seasons Orlando. Shout out to them. Also, before I wrap up, I want to talk about something that's near and dear. I don't know if I've communicated this accurately from the way that I see the world. Let me say this up front. Again, I got a lot of people that friends of mine listen to the podcast, and let me say this, and people, it may make sense, it may not make sense. I don't know how old anyone is. I never know people's age. Now, there's a reason for this. The main reason I don't know people's age, I know my age. I'm 49, turning 50 in July, right? The reason I'm not very keen with other people's age is because I lost the age dynamic when I graduated from high school. So when I graduated from high school, I joined the Army. I'm 18. I'm in the United States military. I go to basic training. In basic training, I'm in basic with people that are 19. I'm in basic with people that are 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27. I think the oldest guy in basic when I went to basic was a 29-year-old man. Now, me at 19 and this man at 29, this man is a grandfather. This is the oldest dude I've been ever working with, right? That's not true because I worked at a grocery store with some other people that were definitely older than me and older than 29. But I'm in military. I'm in basic training with a wide range of ages. And not only that, you graduate from basic training, you go out into the Army. Now you're in the Army. You're out here as an 18-year-old dude, and you working right beside somebody that's 27 with a family. You work with somebody that's 31. You work with people that are 40, possibly. I don't. So there's no rhyme or reason to the age. It's just people. And typically they're not 18. There's a lot more older people than people of my age. I remember going to Fort Stewart, which is in Hinesville, Georgia. So I spent a year in Korea. That's my 18. So I come back to the States. I'm 19. I'm 19 when I get to Fort Stewart, maybe 19 turning 20. But at that age, I was more interested at the folks that were in high school. Like I wanted some high school friends. I wanted like some 18, 17, 18, 19-year-old friends. I wanted to go to the local high school and play basketball, get a pickup. I wanted to go to the football games on Friday night with the seniors in high school. I was 19. So I lost my cohort. I lost my age group. Most of us, when we graduate from high school, you go to college, and you go to college with a freshman class of people that are typically the same age as you. Now, there's some exceptions to the rules. For the most part, if you're a freshman in college, the majority of other freshmen in college are your age. They're 17, 18. They're typically not 29. And maybe there are some freshmen in college that are 29, but they're not in your class. They're not in your cohort. They're not living on the dorm with you, right? So I go to the military and I'm with adults. I'm with grown people for 4 years. So then I get out of the military and I go to college, and now I'm a freshman. So I'm a freshman in college, but I'm 22 years old. I'm a 22-year-old freshman. So I'm around people that are like 18, 19, 20, 21. Here I am, 22, turning 23. So I lost my age. And then add to all of that, you go and work. So I go to college. I'm the oldest freshman in my class, but there's a thought that I'm fresh out of high school. So I'm kind of 18. So it's like I've doubled my 18. I'm 18. I was a young buck in the military, 18, 19, 20, 21. Then I come to college. I'm a freshman. So if you're a freshman, you automatically 18, 19. So that happens. Then you go and get a job. So I go to graduate school. So most of the people, they are my age, but younger. So they're the same folks that I went to college with, but these aren't the kids I went to high school with. The kids I went to college with, when I was in high school, they were in middle school. So the group of people that I spent 4 years with in college, I didn't grow up with these kids. They're a little bit younger than me. They're typically the age of my brother and my sister, but now this is my group because I was a freshman with these folks. So now we look like we're in the same cohort. We're in the same group. In some regard, we are, but in other parts, yeah, I'm not with my group. My group left me. So I got to go and find my group. And then the next thing that happened, outside of working with a variety of people in the workplace, was when I started doing stand-up. So I started doing stand-up. I was 28, but I'm a rookie. I'm freshman. I'm beginning. Most of those folks are like 18, 19, 20. So here I am, 28, got all this experience, seen the world, did these things, but now in comedy, I'm a new buck. I'm a young buck. I'm just getting this thing started. So my age and how I see age and know other people's ages, I struggle. I'm really not keyed in to how old people are. And now it's a little bit more of a challenge because now I have a daughter that's 18, that's going to college in the fall. Shout out to my daughter. Very proud of her. I'm going to be very sad when this happens and she leaves the nest. But she's done very well. I think she applied to 10 colleges, got into 8 of the 10. That's pretty impressive. Got in an Ivy League school. Got about 4 full ride scholarships. And homegirl got it going on. Got it going on. So shout out to the young Gabby Goodwin. And I will now wrap up with a fluffy versus fit mic tip. So last week, I think I was talking about my protein, and this is the protein Premier. Protein is 30 grams of protein, 1 gram of sugar for 160 calories. 30 grams of protein for 160 calories. That's not a bad deal. So that's one of the things I do to keep Fit Mike on the map. And I also have beef jerky. So when I typically go to the office, I'm here for a span of time where my next meal is about 3 or 4 hours later. So I don't want to get hungry and being here. So I need to bring some beef jerky, protein shake, a protein bar. That's very important. But what I want to talk about as it relates to fit versus fluffy Mike is don't skip leg day, man. Don't skip leg day. That's what I used to do back in the day. I'll be in the gym. I'm doing all the vanity lifts. I'm lifting for my chest and my arms, my shoulders, but I'm not doing these legs. And over the last couple of years, I've been putting that work in these legs, man. Lift some. Don't skip leg day, man. Go in there and do your legs. Now, I'm out here in these hoochie daddy shorts, and I don't want to hear a word out of it. I don't want to hear a word out of it because you're skipping leg day. I deserve to wear my hoochie daddy pants because I got hoochie daddy legs. I got the good, nice legs. But if you're out here skipping leg day, you keep on them long pants. You keep on them sweatpants. You keep them chicken legs covered up. But I would encourage you not to skip leg day if you're trying to be a fit version of yourself, man. Well, thank y'all again for tuning in. I would love for y'all to like, share, subscribe to the YouTube channel. Go and find me on social media. My website is MikeGoodwin.com. I'm at Bowtie Comedy in most cases. Follow me. Let folks know about me. Thank y'all so much for tuning in to another episode of the Best Advice Ever podcast. You could have been anywhere in the world, but you're here with me, and I appreciate it. I'll see you next time. Peace. Y'all know we'll be back. Same back place, same back channel. Y'all be easy.